Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, back with another Ben Simmons video. That's right, he just continues to be in the news, and we have to break it down, especially this time of the season. And we know everyone in our comment section loves Ben Simmons, so in this video, we're going to be breaking down some of the top worst trade requests or trade proposals we've seen from publications across the web, and get you guys updated on the latest Raptor news. I'll play the trade news segment, Ryker, but you just break it down for us because everyone wants to hear the latest on the young socialite going to the Toronto Raptors.
Well, as much as we want to shake the news about Ben Simmons, put it well behind us, supposedly the front runners for the Ben Simmons anti-sweepstakes continues to be the Toronto Raptors somehow, despite them wanting Van Vliet, our fourth pick, Pascal Siakam, OG. What was that crazy trade proposal? They seem to want our entire starting lineup, but yet we're still in the conversation with them. So something's going on. But Chris Broussard, I think you said he's Fox News, he further validated that the Raptors are still having negotiations. We broke that last video down, but now complete reversal of what Ben Simmons said in the past, that he doesn't want to go to the bad situation Raptors. Now, supposedly, he would be interested in playing for the Toronto Raptors. So here we are for another video breaking down more Ben Simmons trades. I know people hate him, but listen, I could be convinced if it was the right deal, Ben, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, if we're giving up very little, right, and people are even disappointed in us for saying the Trent proposal, but I feel like that's the max. That's the max you and I would go just to make that happen, because he still is, you still have to consider the fact. I know people are hating him. We're going to clown him the rest of this video. We got the dancing gifts for the young socialite himself wants to go to California and such things. But he is a multi-time all-star at only 25 years old. His defense is remarkable. His passing is remarkable. You run him at one of those big positions, he's great. So, but if you want to hear those takes, go watch our last video. But just to sort of summarize the news before we get into all the flames, the young socialite Ben Simmons, obviously California's the team that he's been talking about. That he wants to go to 3 of 4 California teams, and we all know which 3 they are: the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Warriors. Wouldn't go to a bad situation in Sacramento, but the young socialite, we've got a few dancing gifts in here. He wants to go over there, but then, as you said, Chris Broussard, it was a little bit, people are dropping the headlines that he's open, he really wants to go to Toronto. That's a little bit of a stretch, but now at this point, considering how burnt the bridges are with Philadelphia, he just wants to get out of there. It's a horrible situation, and I get, he's getting this big contract, you got to honor your contract and such things, but after the team's best player and the coach kind of trash on you following a postseason, and then they're just completely open about, hey, we want this guy gone, and we want to just get rid of him at all costs. We're sending him to literally every single team in the NBA. I see where Ben Simmons is coming from, and there's a huge dynamic now. There's a little wrench thrown into things, so it's apparently Tyrese Maxey is going to be a part of any Ben Simmons trade, as he is a Rich Paul client, and given the fact that Rich Paul, there's stuff that apparently, we might break this down on Courtside Digest, maybe even a little TikTok, that LeBron James wanted to go to the Sixers back in 2018, the year he went to the Lakers, move on from the Cavs, and then Rich Paul was like, no, you're not going to Philadelphia. So Rich Paul is just becoming the most hated man in Philadelphia. I remember those rumors happening. I remember that stuff actually going down back in the day, because I think you and I maybe even said it on this podcast, but
we thought he could go to Philadelphia. Yeah, he was definitely, I didn't realize it was Rich Paul's behind the scenes work, but he is quite a villain, man. Just all of his big name clients that they just kind of spit in the faces of their organizations that built them, so to speak. But it's a Raptors podcast, Ben. Again, people are going to flame us in the comment section for bringing up Ben Simmons, but it is interesting.
Would you be more intrigued with the Simmons trade if we also get Maxey? Because he's a monster in Summer League.
Definitely. Do you have his stats up? I don't have his stats up, but the issue that people would have
25 plus points per game.
I don't care about the points per game. I care about the shooting, because again, we're assuming you're going to have to deal a point guard or a playmaker or a shooter in order to get Ben Simmons in return. And you have a tough lineup there with a lot of non-shooters, non-spacers, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam. I don't know who's going to be in your trade proposal, so I don't want to get ahead of myself here. You'd want to bring that.
I don't have a trade proposal. I'm throwing it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be more interested with Maxey.
Yeah. and I'll throw this to you. I'll throw it to everyone out there cooking up the trade machine. Bring it back to the last video, but Boucher and Trent, and then maybe you got to add a pick, which I wouldn't mind if we're getting Simmons. But if you add Maxey to that deal, I think, especially where you're making up for that shooting that you're losing in Trent there with Maxey, and obviously that ability to play off the ball and these sorts of things, a longer, wiry point guard position, then I think that becomes a little bit more encouraging. Would you? You and I were both on the fence about that trade. We definitely drew the line at that trade with Trent and Boucher, but I think if you're getting Maxey back, that gets a little bit more encouraging. I know we want to get into the roast. We've been teasing the roast, but we'll ask the people that in the comment section. You sound off before we break down these trades, Riker.
What am I breaking down?
Yeah, Maxey and Simmons for Trent and Boucher, because I think you just got to.
It doesn't seem like enough. It doesn't seem like enough to me. But here's the thing: we've been stacking our deep bench. Like, we could add a lot of fillers, the Mikhailuks and Deckers, and maybe 2 or 3 future picks. I don't know what picks we have. We've been a perennial playoff team for the most part, but I'd be fine to just like stack a bunch of low-level guys onto that if Boucher and Trent Jr. are the core pieces, because now you're bringing back a center or a power forward, however you want to play him.
You want to play
commit
center.
to full. Yeah, you commit to full positionless basketball. And Maxey, who's a promising young guy who would be the replacement, similar age for Gary Trent Jr. I think people should be relatively happy with that one.
Yeah. Well, people weren't happy when we brought it up the last video, so we'll see if they like the addition of Maxey. But Riker, we got to get into the flame, and we got to get into the craziness, because when Ben Simmons' name was tied to the Toronto Raptors, every single media publication had their own little trade thing, and my God, they were bad. They were a bad look across the NBA. And I'm just going to run through a few. I think I have 3, and then we could go off a couple off the top of our head. But this is one I've seen. It was posted to Reddit. I don't even know where this graphic's from. I know where the other trade proposals are from, Riker. But Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, and 3 first-round picks in 2022, 2024, and 26 for Ben Simmons. Riker, fair trade?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. In what world is this even reasonable from the 76ers perspective? Like, why would they ever think that they could request this much? Our 3 starters, 3 out of our 5 starters, and 3 futures. And our starting lineup doesn't even have more depth than those 3 guys. So this one is shocking.
Yeah, this one is just pure comedy. If the Sixers came out, is this worse than the one that got leaked earlier in the summer?
It's the same as the one that got leaked. No, it was OG, Fred, Kyle.
Yeah, OG, Fred, Lowry, and the 4th pick at that point, which we thought would be Suggs. Mm-hmm.
This one is worse because Pascal Siakam is our number 1 option. So like it or love it. I mean, people don't love Pascal. They're saying trade him. I would be questioning. I wonder if people want to trade Pascal for Ben Simmons.
I don't. Would people? I've seen another trade, and this is one I wanted to throw on at the end, but I guess we're kind of segueing it to here. It happened in an article that a Bleacher Report article, 5 Ben Simmons trades or something. I didn't get the screenshot for it. I couldn't find it off the very quickly before we start off, but I did read it, and they said Pascal straight up for Ben Simmons and a couple picks going to Philadelphia. So they're saying we'd have to give up picks in that scenario, which firstly, I think makes that a complete write-off. And I wouldn't want to give up Siakam for Ben Simmons at this point at all. They're both their values are low. But at least Siakam has a jump shot. At least Siakam has won in the playoffs and performed in the playoffs. Right? Ben Simmons, he's a major talent. He has a lot of potential to grow, and especially in a proper system. But we've actually seen it from Pascal Siakam. Yes, it's not been that consistent, but we've seen it with him. We're yet to see playoff success from Ben Simmons.
Yeah. I'd be torn with that one because you're trading Pascal Siakam at this point on a low, which is why I don't like when people suggest that we should make a move for Pascal. And I'm surprised, we're going to be playing in Scotiabank Arena this upcoming season. He might return to form. So to deal him away, that to me, as soon as you put his name into conversation, that's a deal breaker. I don't want to make that trade, but it would be interesting if you did a 1-for-1 swap and Ben Simmons came in as the Raptors power forward. What could he do at that position? Right? Would he be more confident in scoring if he's not the primary ball handler? If he was a power forward, he could play a little bit more in the low block. That's like the interesting case study of Ben Simmons. But yeah, he hasn't proved it yet. So that's a tough trade.
Yeah, and if we're throwing in picks in it too, No, that one's a hard no for me. I think Siakam's going to bounce back properly with this coming season, but that wasn't one of the flaming trades. I think this one's from the Score, Riker. From the Score. Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and Chris Boucher, a Canadian publication, has the audacity, right? People are flaming us with the audacity of bringing Trent in a trade. They say Fred and OG are our core, along with our bench score, and inside that. That's absurdity that they're throwing this deal out there, Riker. You know, the Pascal, obviously it's not as bad as the Pascal, Fred, and all those guys, but the fact that the Score is Canadian, maybe they're trying to ruffle some feathers out there, but that is whack.
That one's worse. That one's worse because there's actually information behind this trade proposal, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like the first one you pitched out is one of those ones that they don't have context on the Raptors, like whatever, you give all their best players, and maybe that's worth it because they don't know much about this team. But this is an outlet that thinks that, this is an outlet that this is what they actually think Ben Simmons is worth. And you and I, OG, as soon as you put OG's name into something, that's a no. But then you also give up our best bench core of Boucher and our number one guy in Fred VanVleet, who we hoped and we pleaded we would get this guy back and he wouldn't go and get bigger money in Charlotte or Detroit or New York. And we're just going to offer him up. Like, that's a terrible trade. Awful.
Yeah, it's the fact that people think even an OG for Ben Simmons is possible, right? Just like straight up swap is, get out of here with that. In fact, Masai Ujiri, it even was reported earlier in the season when Siakam was definitely shopped around probably a little bit. The airs were waved, even though Masai said that was other teams leaking stuff. We know Masai, as a good general manager or president of basketball operations, definitely did his due diligence. And what came out was that Siakam was more on the block, or the Raptors are more willing to get rid of Pascal Siakam than OG Anunoby. So that's how highly our front office thinks of him. I've definitely been watching Raptors Digest videos because he's my guy. OG Anunoby's.
I think he's going to develop this handle as well now because of you.
Exactly, you know. So it's OG is not getting traded. And the Score, get out of here with that. With these random ass trades.
Yeah, that one hurts. Canadian outlet making that's terrible.
Yeah, not a good look. And finally, our last one. And I guess I did find it. I was mistaken. We already broke this one down. I thought I had another one in there. But Ben Simmons, Pascal, the official ones for this trade is a 2022 first round pick, 2024, and a 2025 pick swap. With those picks as added context, Riker, you more down for that trade or not?
See, Ben Simmons is on season 4 of his NBA career, or season 5? Season 4.
I believe 5.
5.
Depends if you count the fully injured year.
Right. Worst stat line in every single category, right?
Mm-hmm.
Worse from his rookie season. So you're trading, and right, he threw away an open dunk, and his whole team blamed him for losing that playoff series. And his teammates don't like him, and his coach doesn't like him. The GM is shopping him. No teams are, accepting any of the offers. He's making a stir saying that he only wants to play in California teams. That's the epitome of trading on a low. So the fact that we need to give up 3 first-round picks for our best player who's an NBA champion, and, that's crazy to me. Yeah, Pascal Siakam, all he did was miss 3 game-winning shots, and that demolishes his trade value. And all of this shenanigans can go on for Ben Simmons, and he's still worth him plus 3 first-round picks. Shocking.
Yeah, absolutely shocking. A few spinner blade memes, and everyone thinks that Pascal Siakam is the worst player in the league. Get out of here with all of that. The Toronto Raptors, they're going to be back. They're going to be good. Riker, I guess after our second Ben Simmons video, I'm sure we're going to drop one in 2 more days when more news comes out. What are the odds? What are the odds we actually trade for Ben Simmons?
I was just going to ask you that. Well, what are the odds we're just making these kind of trolling meme video? Well, we're not trolling anybody. We're just reporting this, responding to the actual news reports. But he's listed as a plus 800, I think, in the odds right now. Mm-hmm. What if this happens, right? Let's not even dig into who we trade for him. If Ben Simmons suits up as a Raptor, are people net positive or net negative because of how much?
People will be mad, right? People are mad at us for covering the news about potentially getting this guy. Imagine we actually give up assets to bring this guy in. the young socialite dancing his way to Toronto. I don't know. People will not be happy.
Is there a world where he comes and the Raptors are actually good though? Like, is there is there any space in people's brains where when they just digest this that they could this could work out? This could make sense.
I think there should be. Obviously, if you play him at the right position, as you and I brought up, play him as a big man in the dunker spot, have a bunch of shooters around him, things will work out. But Masai needs to be smart about what he's giving up, and I think that will be the reaction from you and I, right? If depending on who we give up, which way we'll lean. If OG, Fred, or Siakam are in one of these trades, we're not going to be about it. But if we don't have to give up one of those core pieces, then we're cooler with it. You can run him around. Ben Simmons with 4 shooters around him could be a huge asset in the modern NBA. 6'10", plays the defense down low, right? Can block shots, can obviously guard, switch out onto the wing. That would be a mobile defensive unit. Obviously, we have bigs to back him up now already. I'd be cool with it happening as long as we don't have to give up that many assets. And that's been my common point the entire summer, and I think it's been yours as well. Yeah, we can't summarize enough that this guy does have potential outside of his shooting. Like, we're not even making the argument that he needs to develop much of a shot. Just play him in a better position. People don't like that argument. They say, no, he's a dud if he can't shoot the 3. But we don't say that about other centers necessarily. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm sure we'll take the heat in this video as well. But it's crazy to me that we're still in the top front running position to land this guy. Like, how are we still negotiating with Philadelphia for what they want? Like, we must have something that they're interested in, or they would shut down trade talks, or they're that desperate now. It's crazy. Maybe Trent's that guy. I know it's been reported. Maybe it's Fred. Maybe they think they'll just get Fred out of us, which I could see that being reasonable for the Sixers. I don't. If Fred's gone for Simmons, I'd be disappointed. I'd be pretty cheesed about that. I would too. Yeah, but I wouldn't want that to happen. But as a Sixers GM, as Daryl Morey, I could see him being, okay, Fred VanVleet, never been an all-star, doesn't have those accolades behind him just yet. You're getting him before he'll probably get all those accolades with Kyle Lowry gone now. I could see him really pushing for Fred VanVleet at that point. Obviously, Masai Ujiri, I think, has been holding off on that front, right? But it's come out that the Kings have been rumored in these trades, and they want either Halliburton or De'Aaron Fox from that team, and obviously those are 2 young guys with a lot of potential. I thought they offered Halliburton and Hield. I guess that was wrong. I don't think Halliburton was in an offer. I think I'm slacking on those Kings. We'll look back into it, break it down on courtside at some point, but that's sort of the 2 guys that they want from Sacramento. And then the Warriors, I think it was yesterday, they were the number 1 in odds. They overtook, I don't know where we were. I haven't been following the actual betting odds. I've just been following the reports. But someone did post the Warriors are number 1 in odds. Then today came out the Sixers want either Klay Thompson or Steph Curry for Ben Simmons. So I think those are going to be shot down in Warriors land. So that's crazy. No. Do you think the Warriors should trade Steph Curry for Ben Simmons? Yeah, it makes sense. Then before we go off the rails, or maybe we just need to finish this soon, but I really don't want to trade Fred VanVleet, and not because I remember I was open to trade Fred VanVleet for like a different player. Like if we're trying to trade up and get a superstar, then that was our argument that we were making. But think about it: if we're trading Fred VanVleet for Simmons, that virtually guarantees Simmons will come in as our point guard, that's worst case Simmons. That's what makes people mad, because now he needs to develop a jump shot and a 3-pointer and all these things that are not going to happen in 1 year. So do not offer VanVleet in a package, because that means Malachi will be our starter point guard. That's not the look. We were more comfortable with Fred VanVleet, especially before all the value completely tanked Simmons and we heard about the socialite drama. But if you had Suggs to step in at the point guard position, then could Scotty Barnes play the point guard position, Riker? No, because he doesn't have shooting yet either. So he'd be, same kind of point guard as Ben Simmons. So yeah, we'd have 2 of them on the floor. So not a good look. Not a good look if we're trading Fred VanVleet, but I don't think anyone wants to trade Fred VanVleet. I don't think Masai wants to either, but if a trade goes down, we will cover it. We will break it down here at Raptors Digest. So subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, all that cool stuff. Got a lot of cool things planned coming for you guys as the season inches closer. So subscribe to Raptors Digest. I don't even know if I said Courtside 2. Just had a really cool video posted, half-hour video essay on alternate NBA history with Kawhi Leonard. A lot of time, I messed up my foot, so I had a bit of time not going outside, just editing away. So definitely check that out. I really appreciate it. Riker, do you have any last words on Ben Simmons? Probably not last words, because we'll be back in another video soon.
We got lots of words left. Yeah, that's it. I'm sure there'll be more reports as this goes along, Ben. Cheers.